What do you think there, Tom? What are your insights on the blending of the various formats available?
So what I've seen so far, I've seen a lot of things that work, and in all honesty, I've seen a few things that don't work, but um, a lot more things that work. I don't know how we got so fortunate. But I'll say this is that one thing earlier that we were talking about with the assessments and comparing them, right? I pulled it up on my phone here. I'm not gonna show you, but you could maybe you could do a pop up, Micah, later. This thing called the Dunning Kruger effect. And what it is, it's called like the peak of Mount Stupid, right? That's what they call it. And it's called ignorance. People just don't know
Yep.
what they don't know, and and so what it starts off is you have a brand new technician. You've got like a curve of this is what their actual what they think of themselves, and this is their years of experience. And as you look at it and they grade themselves, they think at the beginning, man, I am so good at my job, right? And then they find out, man, there's competitive reactance, right? And so then they just like the whole thing falls down, and they call this the peak of Mount Stupid, right? Because they just don't know. It's really just ignorance.
You don't know what you don't
Know what
know.
they don't
Yeah,
know.
it's ignorance is
And
bliss.
so I bring that up because if when we do our in-person courses, one thing that we really do, the reason why I think that they work well is because with that hook, bait, and sinker of getting their attention, like I said earlier, we'll sit there and we'll give them an assessment, right? And the assessment is intended to be difficult. And it's really sitting there to enlighten them. Hey, this is the kinds of questions that you are going to see on your final exam, right? So now the gears are greased, right? And so they've got that. And then they're like, all right, but they're thinking in the back of their mind, but why do I need to know this crap? They've taken half the test and said this is stupid for me to learn it, right? And so now you have to go ahead and you start the course content and you give them examples of how this is interactive and useful in your career moving forward as a level 2 or level 3 NETA test technician, how you can use this information to prove that you are better than your peers, right? And so that way you can get raises faster, right? And so then once you have that, now they know what they do, or they're aware at least of things, and then you got them interested, right? And so now they just have to figure out how to make the pieces fit. We'll spend like a day or whatever training them on that, and then we'll try to maximize the hands-on as much as possible. I think what we're going to do in the future is move towards front loading some of that to more virtual, not maybe a little bit of webinars where they watch them on their own to, just to grease the wheels and make sure that they're up to speed, and not say the same thing over and over and make me do a lot of virtual webinars. But, just trying to maximize our efforts and put the trainers in front of as many people to make it as valuable as possible. I mean, it's not just about making and maximizing profit for the employees. It's also about maximizing profit and usefulness for the trainers, right? You want to make sure that those trainers can engage as many people as possible, as frequently and as often as possible. And then that content is consumed as most beneficial. So there's a lot of things to consider. I would say that the on-the-job training, we've had, and I wanted to touch this because we kind of glossed over it earlier, but we had a person in our company 6 months, a year ago. They said, "Oh, all that in-person training doesn't matter at all. What matters, or what matters, is how they perform in the field." And I was like, "Yeah, but they're never going to get there without understanding any of it, right?" So I feel like the on-the-job training is super valuable after you've greased the skids.
Yep. Agree with you. I think that's very, very salient. And all of this, if you look at it from the macro in very simplistic terms, it's carrot and stick across the board, right? So we're trying to get somebody to get engaged and learn things that they may not necessarily want to dedicate that particular amount of time to. And then even at the management level, it's just another challenge in getting them to buy in to make sure their employees are done while managing all the expectations of everything else they have going on. So it's definitely one of those things that's well needed. And you guys, I am not envious of, because you have your work cut out for you. I think we gave a semi-idealistic purview of like the employees aspect, but I can remember when I was FC3 or FC2 Clay, the training was never going to come above going out into the haunch and going and celebrating the weekend, so there's a little bit there, but I mean, I think you guys are incentivizing the right things. I think there was tons of at least food for thought to get gathered and some really, really cool insights. So I appreciate them across the board there.